Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Zielonka. It is September, and we are busy harvesting our parsnips off camera since the last time we were live streaming. I finished up my red beet harvest, and now we moved on to parsnips. I was talking about some of the maps that dropped yesterday, and the fact that one of them was a light version of a map that released a few months ago. And when that map released a few months ago, it was not available for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It was one of the only, if not the only map that we have seen released to date that was not released for absolutely all platforms or PC only. Let's go to... Well, let's just basically flood the supermarket. We got potato soup, we got triple soup, we have parsnip soup, and carrot soup. We've got all four types of soup here. Let's go flood the market over at the supermarket. I mean, it was kind of interesting, the juicing. You know, the fruit juice, and then you get, like, you know, the fruit core, right? You have a leftover waste after juicing. You're not going to get a full direct one-to-one. Same with the grapes on that. We had a wilderness style map that had white grapes and red grapes. And had compost production. Sadly, compost and the grapes were not built in. I'd like to have seen that. If you are kind of a fan of No Man's Land or Western Wilds type gameplay, then you might like that map. Oh yeah, look at that money rolling now. Ho ho. Our soup rich. $31,886 in soup profits alone. We went from $1,400 the start of the stream to nearly $35,000. And we've only been going for about 10 minutes. That's crazy. In about 3 more months, we'll be able to buy the preserve factory. Melvin, what is up? What is up? I tell you, I feel like I was cheating a little bit by basically saying that go check my regular video for that 4X map, because the regular video would have covered the kind of the north center of the 4X map, whereas you know, the video that we released yesterday covers the new part of that map, and just the new part only. But man, it was getting late. It would have been like a 2-hour video had I done the original version of that map also. Visually, though, that map is awesome. I really, really liked the standard variant of that map, and then toss that same visual element and basically make the map twice as big in both directions. Eight or 9 different farms. Lots of garden areas. Yeah, it was pretty substantial. Mocho, I'm glad you're here, because this video is brought to you by David C. and Mojo Jojo. Thank you for being farm barons. Also updated the credits this evening, so they will run at the end of the stream. Jump over one lane. There we go. Oh. Maybe that's why I wasn't picking him up. There we go. Just like I asked for. Just like I asked for. Alright, I mentioned credits, I forgot I never activated them. So I got that taken care of. So yeah, we had a wilderness style map drop yesterday. We had a Brazilian map drop yesterday that had black beans included. We had a kind of Eastern European style map drop yesterday that was the light version that I was mentioning earlier before the stream started. The light version was a map that came out for Xbox One, no, for Xbox X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. It did not come out for Xbox One or PlayStation 4. But the light variant that came out yesterday was for those consoles. And I noticed that the full fat version, if you will, that was not out anymore. That seemed to have gotten pulled. So I updated the download link to my original video for the full fat version because looking at the PDA, it was mostly the same. It was close enough that the old video still would stand well on its own. You know, when I was doing the precursory look around the map, I was seeing things. I'm like, man, this looks awful familiar. I've seen something like this before. And it wasn't until I finally got around to the pig farm, because the pig farm had some unique, like, construction going on. And when I saw that, I'm like, wait, I have 100% seen this before. And then I went digging and looking up for that map name in my list of videos, and I found the original. Compared the PDAs pretty closely, and decided that it was close enough to be able to pass on that video. Now the map author says the full fat version will be re-released soon. So I don't know why the original version was pulled initially. So yeah. And then we had the 4X variant of what came out a few months ago as a standard size. I went and looked that one up. The standard size map is still out for, I believe it was for PC only. The 4X version obviously is PC only as well. But if maybe you decided that the fields were too small for the standard map, the things were too, the farms were too tight and everything, well, you could stretch your legs with the 4X version because the fields are much longer on the perimeter and the south, because the original version is centered to the north. Great for multiplayer. You can easily have 8 farms, plenty of fields, where everyone can have a nice assortment of fields. GoldenEye, what is up? What is up, sir? I've decided that for root crops, I like harvesting the inside out method. So I'll try to pick a row right down the middle of the field, or close to the middle of the field. And then I will just turn around and run back down the adjacent row. And that's all we'll do. We'll just keep going up and back, constantly widening this gap in the middle. Now that we've got it decently wide, we're going to have our truck parked in the middle, and we won't be driving over any crop. The G version, the G name map. Let me go link to it. Gal, I keep wanting to say Gatlinburg. Galgenberg is now also a 4X variant. Galgenberg. Here it is. Like I said, I keep wanting to say Gatlinburg, which is a place in Tennessee, but it's definitely not the map. It's kind of a mountainous area also. Oh, adulting is awful. There's a, I wouldn't say there's a class, but there's definitely a few class lectures that are dedicated to adulting. That our freshmen have to take. There's a course that every freshman has to take, and some amount of that course is dedicated to what's it mean to adult and have to do adulting things. I told someone to work. I could teach the course and at the same time just completely throw everyone into a fit of depression. I could say, you remember when you were in high school, or maybe even later or earlier today, you thought to yourself, man, I can't wait, until X, right? I can't wait to get out of college because then I'll be living the good life, right? I hate to bring it to you. You've already lived the good life, and it's only downhill from here. Yeah, if you call the womb high school and your parents' house, which is, I guess, technically could still be classified as the womb, if you will. Yeah, that idea. Young couples say, well, we'll wait till we have enough money to have kids. Then you'll never have kids because you'll never have enough money. It's just a thing. You'll never have enough. Yet, somehow, when you do have kids, you end up having enough. It's amazing. But yeah, the idea of a perfect job, perfect life after college. I was watching some shorts recommended on YouTube. I don't know, I think it's like some financial planner guy. And he likes to do like Gen Z videos. There was a video of this, I don't know, this girl that was going off about how she can't have a life anymore because she's got to get up at like 6:30 to get on a bus and go into the city for her job, her 9 to 5, because she can't afford to live in the city. so she can't afford to walk to work. And then by the time she gets home from work, it's like 6:30, and she just doesn't have a life. There's no time to do anything. All she wants to do is eat dinner and then go to bed, and then just repeat the whole process. And it's like, yeah, they don't tell you that when you grow up. Oh, Eddie, I am envious of you. I am envious of you. That is a big one right there. Exactly, Rabbit Rob. Happy hump day. I love those commercials. We don't see enough camo commercials. I didn't even know what the camo commercials were for. I think maybe that's why we don't see the camo commercials anymore. We couldn't remember what the product was being advertised. We were too engrossed with the camo running around talking about being hump day. You know what, Eddie, I can think of a lot worse jobs than paying yourself. You're a self-employed FS22 player. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Paul, thank you. Thank you for becoming a farmhand for another period of time. Thank you for renewing that and being a member of the channel for the last 6 months. Oh, it was Geico Insurance. Yeah, it's like, I have no idea. It's the Hump Day camo commercial. What it's for? No idea. So clearly the commercial did and didn't do its job. You know, one of the jobs of a commercial is to be memorable. But you want to be memorable for whatever product you're selling, not for the commercial itself. Oh, Patrick, yeah, I understand. Dealing with subcontractors and other folks. Heck, even dealing with homeowners. So, look, you can't keep changing your mind here. Well, you can, but I mean, it gets increasingly expensive every time. I got a guy at work. He bought a house. He bought a fixer-upper, and he's putting a lot of work into it, a lot of effort into getting it ready to move in, and he's repainting the whole house. That's the best time to paint it, is before you move in, right? So he painted the whole house. His wife comes over, and she's like, "That's a lot more yellow than I thought it would be." And he's like, "What? I mean, we agreed on this color." "Yeah, but it's a lot more yellow on these walls." "What?" So, needless to say, he's now painted his house twice. He told me the paint store signed him up for contractor status so he could get a discount on paint, because he's already bought enough paint to qualify. Eddie, I have not used the new Hori wheel and side panel. I can tell you that Clutch has a video out where he basically talks about the wheel, pedal, and side panel. I don't know how much he's put into gameplay with it, other than like literally initial impressions. I can tell you my thoughts, never trying the wheel, is that if you only ever play Farm Sim, if that is the only game that you would ever be attempting to do any sort of driving in, then it will probably be okay. The wheel does not have force feedback. It uses a centering spring. So the only resistance is a result of the centering spring. And when you release the wheel, it will rotate itself back to center. Apparently the wheel's got a pretty good sized dead zone that you may or may not be able to dial out from within the game menu or the configuration software with the wheel. The pedals are 100% plastic. Plastic base, plastic pedal arms, plastic pedal faces. There are 3 pedals. I think the pedals, though, are not configured how you might expect them, with throttle on the right, clutch in the left, and brake in the middle. If you go to the Hori website, you can basically get to a button mapping page where they show you the button mapping. The default button mapping for the 3 pedals is throttle on the right, brake on the left, and clutch in the middle. Not what I would think. But at any rate, the side panel seemed as if in his video it has a lot of travel. Like, you throw it forward a lot, you can throw it back a lot, you move it around a lot. It's not ultra sensitive. Like, just a little bit of movement isn't going to cause it to to move the bucket or anything, which may be realistic. I don't know. I've never used a loader that has a joystick to know how far you typically need to move those before you get any reaction from your bucket arm or things. There are a ton of buttons on it. It has what looks like a hand throttle, but he was saying the initial configuration for that was not actually a hand throttle, but was more or less you slide it forward to go forward, you slide it back to go backwards. The side panel does connect to the PC via USB, so it does not connect to or require the wheel and pedal set. The pedals connect to the wheel connects to the PC with a USB. In fact, the USB is the only thing that the wheel has. It is not powered in any way other than through the USB. But yeah, I'll go check it out. In my opinion, if you're going to do anything other than farm sim driving, you would probably be better off with the Thrustmaster bundle. And that is, they've got the farm stick, and they have a new mounting bracket that select low-range Thrustmaster wheels can mount into, that rotates the wheel to that more of a 40-degree angle. That is kind of the selling feature of both the original heavy equipment bundle wheel and the Hori wheel, is that it's not more vertical, it's more horizontal, right? So right? That's more horizontal than vertical, as opposed to my wheel, which is a racing wheel, which is far more vertical, right, than that. I think the farm stick is a good option. That seems to have gotten good reviews. I don't have any of that stuff. I have the old Logitech farm side panel, and I think it's fine. The little joystick on it is just that, a little joystick. I wouldn't use it for anything more than, I use it for camera movements. That's basically what I use the joystick on the side panel for. So yeah, I'd say go check out Clutch's video. There's I think been a couple more. Not a whole lot of videos though that I have seen. Right? I don't think Hori seeded many of these kits to creators to put reviews out to. If they've seeded any, I don't know if Clutch bought that or if it was provided to him. So yeah, I feel like Thrustmaster threw the farm stick out to a whole bunch of people, right, to get publicity and coverage on. I don't think Hori did that. Well, a skeptic's take on that would be that Thrustmaster felt they had a quality product and wanted to seed it out there so people could make comments toward it being a quality product, right? And maybe if you don't seed your product out there to a bunch of creators to put out content about it, maybe you're not confident that they would put out a positive message. Maybe. That's the skeptic. Sylvana, I have used Track IR. I don't use it anymore. The reason I don't use it anymore is mostly because of my current setup. Does not necessarily overly facilitate it. So Track IR uses a reflective bracket that connects to a baseball cap, or a reflective bracket that connects to, let's say, headphones. And then there is basically an IR illuminator that would sit on top of your monitor, and that IR illuminator basically tracks the bracket with respect to the angle of rotation, the tilt, and all of that. Well, I used to use Track IR before I replaced my monitors. My new monitors are taller, and as a result of the new monitors being taller, there is not enough distance between the monitor and my head that it would reliably track anymore. I sit literally an arm's length away from my displays. So I would say most people probably sit further than a literal arm length, right? So if you sit in your chair and you just stick your arm out, I can barely touch my screen with a finger. That's how close I'm sitting to a 32-inch display, right? So I'm right on top of it. If you probably sit a little bit further away, you wouldn't have that issue anymore. So I stopped using Track IR. Now Track IR only works when you're inside, right? When you're in this view, then it would work. When you're outside the view, it doesn't work like if you're out here. Farm Sim Connect. What was DJ's take on it? I don't know what DJ normally uses. Does he normally use a controller, or does he normally use a wheel? Yeah, the G29 works fine for Farm Sim. I've had a Thrustmaster T150 I used for Farm Sim for years. It is literally plug and play. You do absolutely nothing other than launch Farm Sim, and it works. You dial out the dead zone, but you got to dial out the dead zone in Farm Sim no matter what you use. I set a dead zone of 1% or 2%. That way the wheel can be slightly off without the vehicle kind of driving off at a slight angle. Now I have a Thrustmaster T300 RS, kind of a little bit step up from the T150. The T150 was like their entry-level force feedback wheel back in the day. So, yeah. I think if you've never had a wheel before, you'd probably be fond of it. Yeah. Now, I think Drew, maybe Drew in the Discord has one. And I think he said like the actual wheel wiggles more than he would be comfortable with. Like, you know, up and down, left and right, it kind of moves a bit too much in his opinion from the wheelbase. Like it's not in there super tight. I mean, yeah. On paper, looks okay. The fact that it's a bigger wheel than most sim racing style wheels, which is what we really have at this point in time, you know, compare it to. It's probably better than the heavy equipment bundle wheel, for sure. It's got some unique, interesting aspects like the turn signal indicator stalk on the left, the fact that you can rotate the turn signal indicator stalk, and as a result, you know, you can turn the lights on and off with that, right? That's kind of a unique thing to just their wheel. There are thumb joysticks on the wheel that seem to work good for walking around and being outside of the vehicle. But if you're gonna do anything other than farm sim driving, it might not be the best for you. Like if you're gonna do ATS, ETS2, if you're anywhere as remotely maybe interested in other type of driving games or driving titles, right? I think you're going to be wanting something else. Clutch did a video I was talking about. That's kind of the only real hoary video that I recall watching. Yeah, the thing with the Thrustmaster one is, and I'll pull that up, I feel the Thrustmaster one is a better all-around wheel option because it takes a force feedback wheel, mounts it more in a horizontal position for your, you know, for your heavy machinery type feel. But all you gotta do is change the position of the wheel, and you're back to basically having your force feedback functionality, your normal wheel. Let's see here. Sim Task is what the Thrustmaster product line is. Let me try to get to that. All right, here we go. So you have the SimTask Farm Stick. There's plenty of videos out there on that. Then you have this SimTask Steering Kit. Okay? It takes, turn your racing wheel into a heavy vehicle driver's cabin, right? So it takes a traditional Thrustmaster wheel and base and puts it in this different clamp that clamps to your desk, and basically takes the wheel that's going to be traditionally more vertically mounted. This would typically be the bottom of your base that's sitting on your desk, but now it's positioned completely differently, so it's more horizontal. It comes with a little knob, if you will, right? And then if you wanted to, right, you could rotate it down and use it in one position. You could flip it up and use it in a different position. And this is a full-on force feedback wheel, right? So it's basically this wheel. So, right, now that comes with 2 pedals. You might be able to get the Pro version that comes with 3 pedals, right? So this would work for any driving title. And then you couple that with this bracket, and you couple it with this farm stick, right? Which itself is designed and built around well-established joysticks. Right? It's not. The farm stick is basically this flight stick, just reworked. And then I've got a variant of this myself. It's got a metal top, not a plastic top. And I use this in ATS a lot, but you can use it in Farm Sim too, if you wanted to. Now, that combination of wheel, bracket, and farm stick is probably going to run you a little bit more than the Hori bundle. But in my opinion, you're going to get a more quality product out of that set of equipment. Oh, Caleb. Yeah, the Steam Deck is really, really tempting. I like the Steam Deck refresh with the OLED screen. That is ultra tempting. Silva, we use the farm. I use the farm stem, not the farm stem. I use the Steam. Oh my gosh, Steam Deck, Stream Deck. Why do we have so many with just about the same dumb name? Yes, I have the Elgato Stream Deck. I use it right now. That's what I use to do all types of things while I was streaming. You know, toss that up. Start and stop the stream. Activate, deactivate display mode. You know, toss in chat messages like that. And yeah, you can use it for anything. It's the ultimate programmable button box. Basically, you can program to do just about literally anything. Oh, yeah. I don't know why they don't do that, David. I don't know why they don't offer that. But yeah, the Stream Deck is an awesome button box. You could program it to do all of your farm sim stuff too. You can program it to do basically anything. Like I said, launch applications, do shortcuts in applications. I mean, if you were always typing the exact same message or text, you could program it to just basically spew out the same text every time you hit a button. This will be their second load of parsnips delivered. Oops. Just move that back down. And off we go. Hope you guys are staying warm. Starting to get cold here. Right, there's a cold coming in. Although it looks like it's going to rain all day Saturday. Yeah, I mean, you can, it's mobile, right? And you get access to PC games, you get access to games on the run, on the play, you know. You can dock it, you can play it, you know. So you can dock it to a monitor and probably connect through a Bluetooth controller and just do it like that, right? Captain Kiwi! What is up, sir? I saw your Discord message. We're going to be taking tomorrow off, unless the map drops. Unless the map drops. I'm basically living by the principle for which I try to instill in my staff at work and also my kids here at home. And that is, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today, because you never know what tomorrow might have in store. There's been plenty of times I intended to do something and I put it off, and then the next day I instantly regretted it because I had yet even more things I had to do as a result of putting it off. Well, I think, yeah. But she probably realizes that, you know, the money invested in the PS5, if it just sits, is not really, you know, doing anything for you. But if you can take that investment and capitalize on it and get something that you do enjoy, or your tastes have shifted, right? And as a result, you would prefer more PC-based gaming, then yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not a console player, but I think, in my opinion, the only thing the PlayStation has going for it are the few and far between exclusives, right? But if you're willing to wait long enough, they will inevitably show up for PC also. Right? It's just in my opinion too restrictive. Right? It's restrictive for Farm Sim, it's restrictive for just about any game that has mod functionality. It is restrictive because you're only going to get so much out there compared to the mod potentials of the PC. Oh, Patrick B. Yeah, it's like, you know, but it was on sale. I saved 30%. It was on sale. And then you're like, you could have saved 100% by not buying it. Right? I think we've got about a third of this field harvested. And this is my second load down to the soup factory. Down to zoop. So we're going to have another 4 more loads to take down there at 47,000 liters each. So just under 300,000 liters of parsnips. She's a Lego fiend, eh? I guess she didn't step on enough of them with the kids. Wondering how long your root crop love will last? Well, I'll tell you what. Invest in the soup factory and the preserve factory, and I think your love of parsnips will go a pretty long way. Because of the fact that you make some pretty darn good money off of them. Now, we were talking about sales, and I wanted to bring this up because for now, as of now, leading into Christmas, over at Apex Gaming Computers. We are a partner of Apex Gaming Computers. I've got a link in the description to this very bundle. They have a 25% off sale using the 25 for you, not for me, but for you discount code. We've got 3 bundles, the Yeoman, Homesteader, and Rancher variety. What will a Rancher get you? $2,100 on sale, or $1,334. I still think the Homesteader is the best bang for the buck deal. If you are looking to upgrade your PC or replace your PC, then give this one a little bit of consideration. We've got a 12th gen i5 processor. You may say, whoa, the 13th gen, 14th gen's out. 14th gen is basically 13th gen with a new number slapped on it. And a 13th gen was a refresh of the 12th. A little bit more performance there. So the 12th really is not that bad of a performer at this juncture. 16 gigs of RAM. You'll never go back to anything less than that. 3060 Ti is a really good performer with FarmSim. 512 gig NVMe drive, so very fast drive. 750 watt power supply. You're going to have plenty of room to grow and expand should you wish to upgrade at some point the 3060 Ti to, let's say, a 5000 series GPU whenever they come out next year, most likely. Windows 11 Home, free RGB in controller, because we all know the RGB, well, it just makes everything faster. So again, Apex Gaming Computers, discount code 25 for you. Link down in the description. Well, you know, there's ways around it. We don't do those methods here on this channel because we strive for realistic-ish gameplay. But depending on how ish you are, there are ways to not realistic-ish do your root crop harvest. Right, you can get the 4-row self-propelled harvester. There's some magic pallet that you can mount on top of the 4-row harvester, and it will auto-load. Auto-fill is what it does. It will auto-fill your root crops into a giant pallet bag, and then you put that pallet bag on a trailer, and you can configure that pallet bag to do unrealistic capacities and all that type of fun stuff. But yeah, that's not how we're gonna do it here, because that's a little bit too unrealistic-ish for our tastes. But you know, each taste is different. Like, I'm not really sure I would like beet soup. But somebody does, because they pay me a lot of money to make it. But I'm making about $300,000 a year. Just running potatoes, red beets, parsnips, and carrots. So we have potatoes and red beets for 1 month, parsnips, carrots. So we basically have 3 to 4 months of harvest and 3 months of planting. Because I planted my potatoes, which was back here, and I planted my carrots, which was over, or no, my red beets. Planted red beets in those 4 fields in 1 month. Then I fast forwarded and I planted my parsnips in another month. Then I fast forwarded and planted my carrots in a third month. And then basically soon after that, my potatoes and red beets were ready to harvest. Then a month later, my parsnips are ready to harvest. A month later, my carrots are ready to harvest. And then I'm done for the year. Then I just sit back and I collect my soup every month. And start it all over again. So I may be advancing, I may be upgrading and buying the preserve factory. Because I don't know how many, how much of this crop I'm going to go through in a year. Right? I got 312,000 liters of beets, 250,000 liters of potatoes. We're going to have close to 300,000 liters of parsnips when we're done, if not more. And I still have 120,000 liters of carrots from last year. So I've turned on all the production. But I don't know if I'm going to burn through all of this stuff, or I'm just going to ever increasingly keep filling this up. So when we have $110,000, I'm going to buy the preserve factory, which is over there. And then next year, probably split my harvest between the two. Let's take a look here. Take a look here. May, I cleared $27,000. June, I cleared $38,000. This is sold products, right? July, I cleared $32,000 in sold products. August, I bought some machinery, $28,000. This month, $33,000. That's just in selling soup. Now that's on hard economy also. If you play on easy or normal, then you could double or triple those numbers. There we go. So yeah, we got 300,000 liters of carrots, or red beets, sorry, off of these 4 fields. I put parsnips in these 2 fields, and then I put carrots in this field, in these 2 fields. I put potatoes here. Then I had sorghum here, here, and here for my chickens and pigs. So yeah, I'm thinking if I only did soup, I could probably cut back my planting and have more field space for the other crops. Are you trying to hire a helper? It sounds about right if you were trying to hire a helper for that and didn't have a trailer underneath the output to collect the material. Because you gotta run that trailer right alongside, just like a forage wagon. Alright, catch you later, Captain Kiwi. Thanks for dropping by. Make sure to have some Subway. Oh, again, if you haven't seen the animations on this thing, they're really, really nice. We've got these cutters, right, that basically separate the crop, the root from the green. Right, and then the green continues up and just gets deposited. Really neat how the machine works, and the pickup. Yeah, you can see it floats on the ground. I actually had the pickup, I had gotten the pickup caught between a pole or a tree, and it has some wiggle room, right? I wouldn't say you're a bad person for doing that. It's just, right, you found those little dry creeks trees annoying. Like, I want to kind of fill those dry creek beds in with the landscaping tool. I want to raise the ground just enough so they're basically gone. My general lack of interest with forestry prevents me from even thinking about cutting those trees down, because that means I would have to do something with them. And yeah, I could use the mulcher like you said and just delete the trees. But in general, that would require more effort than just driving around them. Maybe I can try to catch this pickup on a tree and show you how it kind of free floats. Yeah, we can kind of see it right there, free floating. Because it has that little foot down there. That kind of runs up and down the surface of the ground. Yeah, those things that rotate, those are really neat. Trying to catch this. A specific way. There we go. So, but you see how it swings out? Successfully caught it. Yeah, sometimes I just like looking at the machinery, and I hit the tree on purpose, Artemis. Sometimes I like to hit the, just like look at the machinery close up. Just kind of admire the real world engineering that must have gone into building these, designing these, and then basically the real world engineering that has been replicated to these models with all of these animations. Right? A lot of care is going into replicating this machinery as best as real life possible. I've been toying with the idea of merging some of these fields together also. Like merging these two fields, merging these two fields. Maybe merging these and extending this one up to that creek bed that runs like here. Delilah, I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe restart your browser. Maybe your browser's misbehaving and is going to try to force you to restart so it'll get updated. And we could at some point start working our way up the outside of the field and then harvest like this right side and then harvest the left side. Yeah, update your ad blocker. YouTube and their ever vigilant attempt to thwart ad blockers, but that just makes ad blockers better. Well, at least these things unload fast. What games have you tried playing on your Steam Deck? I was saying to Lila, maybe restart your browser. I don't know if you heard that or not. Train Sim Classic runs for you. I know you're having virtual memory messages on your PC with that. Okay, you got that resolved. So yeah, if you're home, you can just stream from your PC to the Steam Deck, right? But it's still playing on the PC. Or obviously you can play the game on the Steam, yeah, Steam Deck directly. Artemis and Caleb both came back. That's good. That's good. Yeah, when they came out, I thought about getting one for my kid. He had a Switch. Well, he still has a Switch. But he's got a Switch that he plays with. And I knew when he went to PAX, right, that would basically get him into PC gaming. And I thought about getting him a Steam Deck, but honestly, I was worried it would. I was worried he'd drop it. Everybody in my family other than me has the case of dropsies. I swear they can't hold on to anything. Yeah, I think what Gold and I was asking was what was the ultimate solution? Because you mentioned when you adjusted the virtual memory, you were having then other issues. looking at that. Mods. Getting rid of the mods fixed it. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that loading the mods would, oh, we're full. I could see that loading the mods would consume more memory as it loads them into RAM and such. I wouldn't think that they would use that much unless you just had an absolute ton of them. Or maybe just a simple subscribe, unsubscribe, right? Well, I mean, what's their motivation to fix it? Do they want to keep... They want to, that's the one they keep updating every year. Because then you have Train Sim World. That's by the same folks, right? And then like you have Train Sim World 2. Well, it's because it's virtual memory. It's not your video card's memory. It's your virtual memory. It's not your real memory. Yeah, I think it's probably comes down to how it's coded and maybe when it was you know, the problem here isn't the trees. The problem here is this silly rear steer that all this European equipment always wants to use. My guess is it just wasn't really, maybe the engine wasn't really designed to have all that expansion content enabled at any one point in time. Because it's like, I mean, it's on Steam, right? So every time you launch the game, all the DLC is activated. Unless you explicitly go into Steam and uncheck things. Right? It's not like Farm Sim where you can uncheck things when you load. But even then, when you load Farm Sim, it kind of initializes all your DLC, all your mods before you even get to the main menu. Before you even start to select a save game, it's already scanned and went through and parsed all of your mods and put some amount of that into memory. I just wish you could turn off rear steer. Then things would track the way I'm expecting them to track. Instead, with rear steer, that rear turns out more than I'm anticipating. So yeah, if we look here and we look at my growth, right? So that our carrots are in their final growth state. So next month they'll be ready to harvest and then we'll be done. All right, so we've done our harvest in October. And then I don't have anything to do until April or March planting. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 months off. I plant my red beets. I plant my parsnips. I plant my carrots. I jump a month, and then I start harvesting again. And I don't think, I don't know. But it's not, yeah, Train Sim World or Train Sim is not really, it's not really one of those titles where you buy every DLC that ever comes out, right? It's intended really, you buy the lines and the engines and stuff that most interests you, or that you want to run, right? If you try to buy all the DLC, it's like thousands of dollars. It's something silly. So what do we think we're going to have in 2024 with respect to Farm Sim? Are we going to get a DLC announcement? Are we going to get a season pass announcement. And what's the skinny on Straw Harvest? As of yesterday, literally 4 more weeks in the year. And then they pretty much say it was going to be 2023. Yeah, we had that. We had what? We had the new Massey Ferguson. Those are both Agritechnica demos that were shown off. I kind of have a feeling we're going to get a small season pass announcement. That would be a precursor and an expectation for a new farm sim announcement later in the spring. Taking a look back through the announcement files that I've got, looks like they announced FS22 in April of 2021. Couple months early before FarmCon. I would anticipate a similar time frame on such an announcement. Last year they also announced the year 2 season pass in December, soon after the release of Platinum. There, let's. We're picking up a row. Ah, we're picking up a phantom row. Oh, we were. There we go. Yeah. If we were the tree killing types, we'd go and kill all those trees along that ditch. But that's why That's why I planted those carrots that way, because I could avoid the ditch. And I knew that these fields would already be harvested, so I'd have the field I could just turn around in. North American lines. Yeah, it's still a lot of lines. Oh, come on, let's go. These load of parsnips must be getting heavy. I realized I could run this harvester with this smaller tractor. Only what we'll do this time is we'll come up this other side of the field. And work this field, this side of the field down, then we'll work that other side down. Did y'all check out those mods that dropped yesterday? We had an interesting mod. I didn't even notice it until today. I was so fixated on the 4 maps that dropped. We had the sugar production pack. That looked pretty cool. It added the ability to do a confectionery to make hard candy, strawberry and honey hard candy. Added also the ability to make molasses and some other interesting products. We had a big European building pack from Mr. Hector that dropped. Any other really cool mods that dropped yesterday? Oh, we're at 100%. When do we get to 100%? I don't even recall getting to 100%. Must have been when we finished that field. There we go. Kind of surprised we only had 2 mods drop today, actually. I guess they completely cleared the in-testing queue with yesterday's drop. One, two, and 3. So this GPS heading, we're three courses off with respect to the pickup and the row we need to pick up from. Then every so often we get our row width is not quite 100%. Because every so often we pick up 2. Every so often we pick up a phantom row. But it works for the most part. I did have a thought the other day, and I messaged Giants and I asked them. Of course, you don't hear anything back when you do these things. I was like, could we see a mod contest in 2024? So in FS 17 and 19, for those who aren't aware, there was a mod contest that happened the summer following the game's release. So that would have been, there was a mod contest in 2017 and there was a mod contest in 2019, because both of those games were released the year before the game version number. Well, in 2022, we didn't have a mod contest. We didn't have a mod contest in 2023. Typically, folks say we get the better mods toward the end of a game's life cycle. So what better time to have a officially sanctioned mod contest than right toward the end of a game's life cycle? Right, that's when the modders are most familiar with the modding techniques that are required for that game title. So I hope we see a mod contest in 2023 to maybe signify and give FS22 a parting with a bang type thing. Raphael, catch you later. Catch you later. Yeah, see, now we're kind of picking up that phantom row, just barely picking up the crop that's close to it. What would you all think of a mod contest in 2023? Oh, sorry, 2024. It's typically announced in the May-April timeframe. Right around the same time that we would have a game announcement done. And, you know, awards happen at FarmCon. That's how they've done it in the past. Oh, back up. All right, off we go. Load number 3. Oh, I love that fabulous billboard. But I tried to do the math down here at the soup factory to figure out how much crop I needed. And I don't think I was doing the math right. What do you mean, Raphael? Like, how do I make this truck go faster than 49? Loop, loop, loop. There they go. We're good on fuel with this truck. I think it's that tractor that's starting to run down. I don't know, Patrick, you can take your trees that you want to mulch to the sawmill. Well, you'd have to own the sawmill. to buy planks, and then you can get your piano production going, right? But then you have to buy the piano factory. But we know pianos pay out good money after they are built. They do take several months to get built out. Alright, here we go. Go. I'm fighting the temptation to count rows of parsnips to know how many passes I need to make to finish this section. I've got an obsession with counting. If I wasn't streaming, I'd have already counted all these rows, and then I'd count down the number of passes. I asked my youngest one day how many kids there were in his class. He said he didn't know. I'm like, well, why don't you count them? And he said, that's weird. That's creepy, Dad. You don't count people. I was like, what? What do you mean? Why don't you count people? That's the only way you're going to know how many people are in your class. Finally, we pick up this row. I didn't realize these two fields were just slightly off. One field's just a little bit wider than the other. Raphael, if you're talking about operating speed, like harvesting speed, or vehicle's top speed, those are defined in the XML of the mod or the base game, right? There's corresponding XML configurations in the game files for those. I wouldn't go suggesting editing base game XML data. Partially because anytime there's going to be a game update, that information could get overwritten. But with a mod, you would be able to open the mod up and see the configuration, where it basically says how fast a particular implement is capable of being run, and for a vehicle what its top speed is. That's like dirt. Normal, fast, slow. That's dirt. And fuel usage is normal, fast, and slow. Or normal, high, and low. But there isn't a vehicle speed. Even with the additional game settings mod. So yeah, the only in-game settings are fuel usage and dirt, like how fast something gets dirty. We should be able to get by in the next time. So Rob, there's a mod that lets you change the vehicle speed. Like the vehicle's top speed. Because of course you can use 1, 2, or 3 to adjust the cruise control speed. Maybe that's what the question was. I can't count. I can't put it off anymore. "17 rows. So 8 1/2 passes. 8 more times up and down the field, and then 1 more. Should be 17. Oh, so you're saying I could harvest at 26 miles an hour? With this mod, but it's called real speed, but it's really not realistic speeds. This probably should be called max speed. I don't even have a clue why it's picking up that other row. We're like centered on that first row. The next time we harvest, it will pick up a phantom row. Oops. There we go. Zlon Zam, thank you for the sub. If you're in chat, say howdy ho. Really wish you could harvest with that raised. That would be nice. So folks, that's where we're gonna wrap it for the night. It has been 2 hours. We typically go about 2 hours during the week. Maybe during the weekend sometimes we go a little bit longer, but we don't go super long. But thank you for coming out and watching. Tonight, I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow night. If a map drops tomorrow, keep an eye on the channel for that. But what I'll probably be doing is trying to catch the game awards that are being held tomorrow night. That is this website here. Go check out the nominations for all the various categories. Sign up, vote, and, well, I think the voting's still open. And see tomorrow night if any of your selections have won any of the categories. That's what I'll be doing. It's probably tomorrow night, unless, of course, a map drops over at Giant Spawn Hub tomorrow afternoon. Till next time, happy farming.